All right, good morning. We're going to go through the docket as quickly as we can so that we can start on the jail docket. 2021 CR 19158, State versus Matthew Aldridge. Are you Matthew Aldridge? Are you Matthew Aldridge?
I'm the attorney of fact for Matthew Aldridge.
You were what?
The attorney of fact.
Attorney what?
Of fact.
Attorney of fact. And what does that mean?
His authorization to do legal representation.
Are you a licensed attorney?
No, I'm simply an attorney of fact.
Okay. And does that mean you have a power of attorney? What is your name? What is your name?
My name?
Yes, sir.
I don't have.
You don't have a name? Pardon?
I'm the attorney of fact for the respondent in the area.
Well, let me explain to you. Only an attorney at law can stand in court and represent a criminal defendant. And to do so otherwise violates the criminal law statutes of the state of Tennessee and could land someone who attempts to represent themselves as an attorney at law in serious trouble. I understand what you're saying. I understand you're saying an attorney in fact. And what I want you to understand is that if you have a power of attorney, then you need to demonstrate that power of attorney. Do you have a legal document called a power of attorney?
No, I do not at this time.
Okay. Then you don't have any authority to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge in this court. You have no legal authority, nor do you have any authority through a legal document to represent or to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge.
Why don't the court just let me file this document?
Show it to the bailiff and he'll show it to me.
Have a copy of it.
Oh, apparently there's a copy here. All right, this is in the state of Tennessee of Cheatham County and Chancery Court, which is filed in the wrong county because in the wrong court, because this is circuit court. You just be quiet.
You go to the courthouse, it comes up.
You need to listen to me instead of talking, okay? This is a challenge to the standing. The Supreme Court of the United States has stated that no corporation has standing anything to man. And then there's a quotation for Rundle versus Delaware Raritan Canal Company. And then it says, as well as it being a maximum of law, citing certain Latin phrases, dissimilar things ought not to be joined by a definition of Black's Law Dictionary. So the respondent in error requires that the state of Tennessee Incorporated and Cheatham County Chancery Court prove their standing to proceed against a man in any court of law. You have 15 calendar days to prove your standing or forever yield to estoppel, waiver, and fraud, and cease and desist this proceeding immediately. More time is available if requested. And then this was signed by Matthew O'Neill Aldridge. Is that your signature?
That's the respondent in error signature.
All right. Well, I find that Matthew Neil Aldridge has failed to appear personally in this court for the plea day on his case, which is set for trial tomorrow. And as a result, you have no standing, sir, under what I know what you're trying to do is to try to use the sovereign citizen approach to this situation. And I'm simply telling you that you do not have the right to represent Matthew Neal Aldridge. If you are in fact Matthew Neal Aldridge, then you need to say so and stop this nonsense, because what you're attempting to do has no legal effect. You cannot challenge the criminal law or the jurisdiction of this court by simply filing some legal mumbo jumbo having to do with civil litigation. That has civil litigation in it. It is not a criminal case that you have cited. So it has no effect on this court regarding the criminal statutes of this court. This court is empowered under the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the state of Tennessee, and by the duly elected citizens of Cheatham County to empower and enforce the laws of the state of Tennessee. And that is what I'm going to do regarding Matthew Lynn Aldridge. Mr. Aldridge is set for today to appear in court personally on what we call our last plea day before his trial date tomorrow.
Is that an Article 3 trial?
To what?
Will that be an Article 3 trial? A trial by jury with jury?
It would be a trial by jury, certainly it would be. But I don't know who you are. And I don't think you have any authority if you are not Matthew Lynn Aldridge to appear before this court. And you're wasting valuable time to all of these other citizens who are here today. So when I'm talking, you stop talking. No, you will when I'm finished talking. You are wasting the court's time by doing this. And I'm just simply instructing you that if you are in fact Matthew Lynn Aldridge, then this is your last day to settle your case. The trial date is set for tomorrow, and unfortunately, it will not go forward because of the fact that I have a conflict and I have to be in Stewart County on a civil matter. So we're going to assign a new trial date for Matthew Lynn Aldridge. Now, is there a problem with the jury warrants? If you put a notice up there for tonight, if we don't need you tomorrow, but we need you on February the 6th. Is that possible? General, we're going to need to set a trial date in July.
July 15th.
I'm sorry.
July 15th.
July 15th. All right. To Matthew Aldridge and the individual standing before me, whose name must not be uttered, then we will set a July 15th trial date for Mr. Aldridge. Whatever this document is that you have filed is in fact invalid because it does not cite any valid criminal statute, and therefore I'm denying whatever that might be in the way of a motion. The trial date will be July 15th. The last day for Mr. Aldridge to enter a plea or go to trial will be July the 8th. July the 8th. Now, we're going to give you a card. If you are in fact Matthew Aldridge and you're just playing games with the court regarding this nonsense that you filed, then you may get this card and you may go on about your business. If you are not Matthew Aldridge, then I would suggest to you, you relay to Mr. Aldridge that he must appear on July the 8th, or a bond revocation will take place, and his case will be will take place with him in jail, incarcerated on the 15th. That's the judgment of the court. You need to take your piece of paper and go on about your business. 2021 CR 19158 State versus Matthew Aldridge. All right. I've been handed a document that states, I, the attorney of fact, there is a ruling $25. I'm asking what form of exchange is acceptable. Also, is the trial going to be about trial by jury on the 15th of July? Only a bar member is able to respond by mail. Bill, Tennessee, United States of America, zip.
Well, my address, the address,
Pardon?
rather have the address private, with you, of course.
Up so I can make sure I'm here. You're going to have to speak up. We've run through this before. Are you, in fact, Matthew Aldridge, acting as your own attorney?
I'm in fact, I'm the attorney, in fact, for Matthew Aldridge.
You're the attorney of fact for Matthew Aldridge.
Yes.
Right. Now, you understand Matthew Aldridge is required to be here today because his trial is next week. And if you are Matthew Aldridge, then this is your last day to settle your case by any sort of an agreement. Otherwise, you're going to go to trial next Monday, is it?
The 15th.
All right. You'll be going to trial, and it will be a jury trial. And
Yes,
you're
okay.
going to represent yourself, correct?
Correct. Yes, correct.
All right.
Correct.
And we will show that you are to be here Monday. Raise your right hand. Let's place you under oath. I just want to ask you a few questions on the record. Raise your right hand. Let's place you under oath.
Yeah, affirm.
All right. How old are you?
I'll be 40 this August.
40. All right. And how far did you go in school?
I graduated.
All right. From high school?
Yes,
All right.
high school.
Have you familiarized yourself with the rules of criminal procedure?
Yes, I have been.
All right.
Yes,
So you understand what the rules are regarding a trial. Do you also understand what the rules of evidence are regarding a trial?
Correct.
And you understand that you're going to be held to the same standard, acting as your own lawyer. You have every right to represent yourself, and I'm not saying you don't. I'm just simply saying you will be held to the same standards that any other defendant will be represented by an attorney. Do you understand that? You have an absolute right under our Constitution to have an attorney to represent you. And if you could not afford one, I could appoint one for you. But you have elected, if I understand correctly, to represent yourself and waive your right to an attorney. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Then we will see you. I'm going to ask that you sign this written waiver. Sign right there where the X is. Pardon me. All right. I got it. All right, you have signed this without prejudice. Is that your name?
Without prejudice?
Yeah, is without prejudice your name?
3-301. Would you like,
Now, understand, we're not going to mess around when we come back next week for this trial.
I'm
not
aware
gonna
of
put
that.
up with any kind of foolishness where you don't identify yourself. Matthew Aldridge is the defendant. I know you are Matthew Aldridge. You're going to go to trial next week, and you're going to have to be in front of a jury of 12 citizens. We're going to pick a jury. We're going to try this case, and if you are found guilty, then you'll go on to appeals court, and then you'll have a right to an appeal.
Yeah.
But if you come in here and say that you are the attorney of fact, or that you are without prejudice, or whatever the situation is, you understand that I'm not going to put up with that kind of foolishness in front of a jury. You're going to have to represent yourself, but you're going to have to come in here and adhere to the rules. Do you understand that?
correct.
All right. And that is the ruling of the court. I'm going to show that he has that he has signed this without prejudice, but I know him to be Matthew Aldridge, and therefore I'm going to hold him responsible for a waiver of his right to counsel. We will see you on the 15th day of July, 9 o'clock. The witness problem, the state has indicated that they may be wanting to dismiss the case against Matthew Aldridge. But Matthew Aldridge has not appeared in this court officially. So what I want you to understand is this: you can play this game with trying to say that you are the attorney of fact or whatever. And if you consist or persist in doing so, the only choice I have is to issue a failure to appear warrant for Matthew Aldridge. And if you, under oath, tell me today that you are in fact Matthew Aldridge, then we can take steps to try to resolve this matter. So it just boils down to, if you want to stand on your procedures, then what I'm going to do is, and you refuse to identify yourself as Matthew Aldridge, then I have no choice but to issue a warrant for failure to appear against Matthew Aldridge. And I'll have you step back with the officers and they'll try to identify whether or not you are or not. You cannot defeat the ends of justice or the justice system by simply trying to say you're not who you say you are. So,
may I speak?
yes, sir. Put that microphone up so we can make sure that, there you
go. By appearing in attorney in fact, I'm protecting my Fourth Amendment right.
Your Fourth Amendment right.
Yes.
What right under the Fourth Amendment are you asserting?
I have the right to my own private property, and I don't have the right. I do not have to give my name. It's basically the Fifth Amendment too. You're establishing evidence against yourself.
And I've explained to you what's the process is going to be today, correct?
I am aware. I am Matthew Aldridge, as described in the criminal complaints I've set out.
Hold on just a second. Raise your right hand and let the clerk place you under oath.
Okay.
You solemnly swear or give yourself or
I do.
All right. Now, are you Matthew Aldridge, the defendant in this case?
I am Matthew Aldridge, as described in the criminal complaint that I sent registered mail on Thursday against the witness.
I'm not sure that we have received anything.
Yes, the witness.
We haven't received anything. What exactly were you saying?
It's registered mail. I have my tracking number. It's at home. It is registered mail. It went out Thursday from.
So you're using the government entity or a semi-government entity of the post office registered mail to send something to this court?
Well, every time I've stated something on the record in the clerk's office, you've always asked, I haven't seen nothing in the mail. And so I figured that's where you'd be looking for it.
All right. Well, you have identified yourself as Matthew Aldridge, the defendant in this case. And therefore, General Willoughby had indicated that he was going to dismiss this case based upon a witness issue that the complaining witness or the state's main witness was someone who is no longer with the law enforcement here in this area and was not willing to return based on issues that had happened. Is that still the state's position? All right.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Then Matthew Aldridge, now that you have identified yourself correctly as the defendant in this case, then the state is moving to dismiss the charges against you because of a witness problem. Case is dismissed. You are free to go.
Thank you, sir.
Today, we are stepping into a courtroom moment that immediately raises eyebrows. The judge simply calls the defendant's case, expecting a normal response, but instead the man claims he's the attorney of fact. That's when things get awkward fast. The judge calmly starts asking basic questions, like his name and whether he's a licensed attorney, and the answers only make the situation stranger. Right away, you can feel the tension building as the court tries to figure out who is actually standing in front of them. This is where the situation really starts heating up. After presenting a confusing document packed with legal phrases and citations, the man appears convinced he's found a loophole to challenge the court's authority. But the judge isn't buying it for a second. With patience and clarity, he explains that throwing around random legal jargon doesn't erase criminal jurisdiction. In fact, he directly calls out the sovereign citizen style argument and makes it clear that the court's authority isn't going anywhere. Now we've reached the moment where everything finally comes to a head. The judge makes it clear that if the man continues refusing to properly identify himself, a warrant could be issued for failure to appear. At this point, the pressure is on. Eventually, he admits he is Matthew Aldridge, and just when it seems like the case will move forward, the courtroom delivers an unexpected twist. Because of a witness issue, the prosecution moves to dismiss the case, and just like that, the charges disappear. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.